starting a business can be hard. Honestly, I would say starting a business is a journey that every person will experience differently. Even if they were to read the same books, invest in the same courses, or even hire the same mentors. And that's because we are all so different in our own unique ways, and we all went through different paths to get to where we are now, right? However, I have personally compiled my top 5 favorite books that I believe that every new entrepreneur needs to read. And my reason why is that it will really help you get to that next level in your own unique way, right? So each one of you are probably gonna read this book or read the books that I'm gonna give you guys, and you will interpret it differently. And that's completely okay. What I believe is that wherever you are in your path, whether you're new, whether you're not new, you're going to interpret things differently. That's going to help you get to where you need to be. So if you want to learn more about these 5 books that I personally love and I reread, then keep on watching. So the very first book that I recommend is If How-Tos Were Enough, We Would All Be Skinny, Rich, and Happy by Brian Clemmer. So it's quite the long title, but I would say hands down, this book changed my life. And I don't say that often about books, but this one by Clemmer was a huge game changer for me. And what I loved about this book is that it's not very long, but it's straight to the point, right? And there are images throughout the book that help you solidify certain principles and points that Clemmer talks about in the book. But most importantly, I would say that this exact book helps me take 100% full responsibility for my life. So I first received this book from a friend of mine in my sophomore year of college, right? So the year prior to that, my life was in a complete mess, and I pretty much complained about everything under the sun. I had this victim's mindset 24/7, and I couldn't see why my life was the way it was. And after reading this book, I graduated with honors, made it to the dean's list upon graduation. But most importantly, it was because of this book that I created my very first grassroots lemonade stand with the girls that I babysat at the time and raised $500 in 2 hours selling 50-cent lemonade, right? I then donated 100% of the proceeds to an orphanage in Tijuana, Mexico. So this story means a lot to me because at the time, I literally had no idea how to make it work. And I had this idea standing inside Target when I first got the idea of creating a lemonade stand. And that was the first time in my life that I felt I could really design my own life and create something, right? I believe it's really important for every person who wants to be an entrepreneur or start their path to first take 100% full responsibility for every single thing that happens to you. And if you want to kick in the butt with that exact principle, then make sure that you read If How-Tos Were Enough. I highly, highly, highly recommend. For those of you guys that want to start your own business, there's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be things that happen, sometimes even out of your control. But this book really paints this picture of how everything is your responsibility. And there's a difference between control and responsibility, and you'll learn about that in this book, which I absolutely love. And as you can see, it's pretty old. I had it for college. For me was like almost 10 years ago, maybe like 7 years ago. But you see how old it is? It's like I highlighted, I made all these notes. It's a great book. So the second book I recommend is Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson. So if you've been standing on the sidelines thinking whether or not you should start a business and whether or not you are expert enough to do so, this book is for you. So this book is really it's really for the person who doubts their expertise and their knowledge, but deep down wants to do something with all the information they have hoarded over the many years of just consuming and doing nothing with it except storing it in your brain. So what I love about this book is how easy Russell Brunson breaks down his message and gets his point across. And honestly, if you were to follow step by step the principles and framework the author teaches you in the book, you'll easily land a couple of your first clients with this book alone. And if you are looking for a step-by-step guidebook on how to start and launch your business, then I'm telling you, this book is for you. I mean, he literally lays it out for you. He draws pictures for you. Like every single chapter is so valuable when it comes to starting your business from scratch, from A to Z. Okay, so the third book third book that I recommend you is this one right over here, called Stop Chasing, Start Attracting. Now, this is the book that I personally wrote, and it's now available. So if you click on the link in the description below, you can have access to it. But basically, I wrote this book really because of my own personal journey with entrepreneurship and how I realized if I knew early on that I had to work on my money mindset before everything else. That's the one thing I would say to new entrepreneurs, is that it's not the strategy that's going to propel you forward, but rather it's your mindset. It really is. And basically, this book is a combination between money mindset, healing your money mindset, as well as learning feng shui and Chinese metaphysical tools to help you attract more money and opportunities in your life. I'm so passionate about this book because I was really able to bring my own culture, what I learned as a little girl, into my work nowadays, or into my business and my brand. And it's really this concept of new age information combined with ancient wisdom, right? Literally, it is. And it wasn't because, if it wasn't for like feng shui and Chinese metaphysics, I wouldn't be where I am today. And if it also wasn't because of money mindset and healing my relationship with money, I also wouldn't be where I am today. So for those of you guys that are just starting out, building a business is a challenge, especially in the beginning. I'm not gonna lie to you, right? Like there's gonna be times where you have to stick it through no matter how hard it gets. And the number one thing that's gonna keep you going is actually not external. It's not your friends, it's not your support system, it's you. It's how you feel internally. And so my suggestion for anyone that is starting a business, and even if you have been in business for a while, it's so important to continue practicing the strategies to heal yourself when it comes to money. Number one, your relationship with money. Number two, and then obviously learning how to work with energy and how to attract things to you, right? Be a money magnet. So number three is my book right over here. I highly recommend it, and I cannot wait for you to dig deep into it. All right, book number 4 is Strengths Finder by Don Clifton. So I say this all the time to my clients. Capitalize on your strengths instead of focusing on your weaknesses. So this book is all about finding out specifically what your specific strengths are so you can focus on those strengths instead of trying to be a jack of all trades. Now, most people think that becoming an entrepreneur means that they have to do everything in their business. And what ends up happening is that they end up burning themselves out, right? Because you're trying to do anything and everything for the sake of saving a few pretty pennies. But what you should be doing instead is figuring out what you are really good at and assign the rest to someone who can actually help you carry the load. Now, here's the thing. I get it. I totally get this, right? So in the beginning, you might not have the budget to hire a fancy team. I didn't, for sure I didn't. I didn't come from wealth, but I also knew that there were a lot of people from other countries that basically, their cost of living is lower, so they cost less, and they needed jobs. And I could give them a helping hand by having them help me with technical things that I wasn't particularly an expert in, nor would I want to be. Now, be resourceful with the way you find help, right? And here are actually a few websites that I personally like to use, especially in the beginning, to get help in my business. So my absolute favorite one is genm.co. That's where you can find marketing help, marketing assistance. Basically, there's students that want marketing experience, and so you can hire them as a small business owner and have them be an intern for you for 3 months. Okay, so genm.co is great. The next website is fiverr.com. I'm sure you guys heard of Fiverr. I personally don't use fiverr.com because I feel like I use it and I don't use it, right? Like it depends on the job, but if it's like something small and something that's like technical related, which I'm not technical at all, I find someone on fiverr.com. In the very, very beginning of my business, when I couldn't afford much, fiverr.com was my go-to. So especially if you don't have a lot saved up, I would recommend this site. The third site is upwork.com. So upwork.com is a little bit more, the quality of people, in my opinion, is a little bit better on upwork.com. Same thing though, like I have hired freelancers and people to help me in my business, and it's so important for you to just find the people that are expert at whatever it is that you're trying to hire, right? The whole reason why you're trying to find someone to do your work is because they're better at their job than you are, right? So for example, I recently hired an animator, and I don't know how to animate stuff, but I have the vision and I know exactly what it is that I want from the animation. And so it's so important for me that I choose just an animator because she specializes in that, and she did an amazing work, more than I could even imagine. So I really highly recommend Upwork.com, which is great as well. So those 3 sites are the 3 sites that I recommend for those of you that want extra help in your business, and so that you can focus on your strengths and not a weakness. Okay, so the last but not least book that I recommend is Little Red Book of Selling by Jeffrey Gitomer. Sales, right? Like, it's the one word that you might make you wanna cringe or light up like a Christmas tree when it comes to your programs, products, and services. So this really depends on your relationship with money, right? So that's why I recommend my book first, but that will probably determine your viewpoint on sales. But what if there was really a way for sales to be actually fun and heartfelt? So this book explains how to sell without being sleazy or manipulative, and it even shows you how to sell with heart, which is why it's in red. But most of us want to be seen as, most of us don't want to be seen as sleazy or manipulative when it comes to selling, which is why it's so important to understand the psychology of sales in a way that's genuine and authentic. And I truly believe that sales have garnered such a bad rep, but when you really think about it, sales is really the lifeblood of any business. Like, you need sales to be in business, and you need sales to survive, right? You need it. So read this book if you want to be crushing it in sales. And the thing is that what's funny is, here's my suggestion, right? Sales is a yang energy, it's active. And so that's why I really suggest that before you start taking action and reading a book on sales, just be 100% clear that the way you look at money and your relationship with money is good, right? Because if you're gonna try to sell, but you think that selling is bad, so this used to be me. I used to have a sales job. I did door-to-door sales, but deep down, I hated sales. I thought that I was being manipulative. I thought that I was taking from people. So just imagine doing a job, but deep inside you're uneasy and you feel like a fraud. So you're gonna continue hitting up this wall where your internal reality is not matching with your external reality. So things are slowed down or blocked. So that's why before you start selling, I really highly recommend you to work on your money mindset and the way you look about sales and marketing and money in general before you even pick up a book on sales or marketing for that matter. All right, so if you enjoyed these, 5 books, I create content every single Sunday on money, marketing, and metaphysics. So if you'd like to learn more about that, you can check out these 2 videos right over here. And make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to get notified for new videos that come out every week. So I love you guys. I appreciate you so much. And I will see you guys next time. See ya.